If you're sending, for instance, also good, warm traffic to your listings, meaning they're already familiar with your brand, now they're, associating this non-branded term, for instance, with your product instead of just your product name, this will help you to then convert better and to get more sales. Welcome to the Natural Personal Care Podcast, your guide to personal care branding success. Every week, we'll unlock the secrets of eco-friendly marketing and share strategies that work. Are you ready to grow your brand on Amazon and beyond? Let's dive in. Hello and welcome to today's episode of the Natural Personal Care Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, Becky Avila, and today I'm going to go back to Amazon some more, and I'm going to share with you some Amazon SEO secrets for e-commerce and how to get your products found on Amazon. So first, let's talk about Amazon's algorithm, their A9 algorithm. Now, unlike Google's search algorithm, which focuses really on backlinks, website authority, things like that, Amazon's algorithm, it's going to prioritize what's relevant and the performance, which is another word for conversion. So this means that if your product's relevance to something that a customer types in the search bar on Amazon, and they look at its performance metrics for your listing, so they're looking at things like your conversion rates, your sales velocity, which how many units are you selling per day, those kind of things are actually going to be crucial and part of what they're taking into account. Customer satisfaction is actually also part of their algorithm. So think about things like product reviews and ratings. That's also going to play a significant role inside where you appear in Amazon's searches. So if you want your product to show up in searches on Amazon, it really goes beyond having relevant, highly searched keywords in your title and bullets. Obviously, you definitely should do that if you're not already. But this means that ideally you will have fast shipping through FBA, which means typically, almost all the time, you will convert better. And if your competitors, for instance, are using FBA and you can get to customers faster, that's really going to be hard for them to compete. And you're going to show up sooner in searches than those who listings, despite all the other tips that I'll share today and all the tips that I've shared in previous podcast episodes when I talked about creating your listing for success, things like that, and foundations. If you're sending, for instance, also good, warm traffic to your listings, meaning they're already familiar with your brand, now they're, associating this non-branded term, for instance, with your product instead of just your product name, this will help you to then convert better and to get more sales. So Google and Meta ads driving external traffic to your Amazon listings, that can really help you get seen faster and sooner in Amazon searches. And like I said, your product reviews are going to matter too. So be careful about sending too much traffic to your listings. If there's issues and ongoing problems that you need to handle with your product, make sure to handle those, get those squared away and taken care of. Okay, let's now talk about keyword research for Amazon SEO. Keyword research, that's really going to be foundational for Amazon SEO. You need to know what terms are your potential customers using to find products like yours. And this is going to be different than Google. Google, a lot of times people are asking things like questions and trying to get information and research. Amazon, they're trying to find a product. You can start with Amazon's own search bar suggestions. They will actually give you a good idea of popular search terms. So you can start typing in something that you think might be relevant to your product. Additionally, there are software research tools that you can use. Just keep in mind that many brands are already using those tools. So it's no longer just about adding words to your title and your bullets and other places in your listing, even though you should. You need Amazon's algorithm to understand that your listing is very relevant, and this will lead ultimately you and Amazon being able to get a customer to buy, because their ultimate goal with their algorithm is they're trying to get customers to buy products, which is a good thing, right? You want your product to show up before ready to buy customers. So don't forget also, you should be looking at your competitors' listings, look at identifying their high performing keywords that they might be using, because this can really help you to make sure that you're not missing anything, for instance. And you may also be able to use their listings for what's trending and maybe rising in popularity of keywords. This would be really good for brands that just are doing Amazon really well that you see, or bigger brands as well. And then the next kind of thing that you're going to focus in on is optimizing your product listings. So once you've found and identified those keywords, next it's really time to optimize your product listings. So I always like to say start with the title. It's the very first thing that you see with copy. It's, seen as probably being the most important because it is at the top. And you want your primary keywords to be in that title, but it should stay readable. It should stay compelling. So for instance, if you're selling a stainless steel water bottle, it might be good to have in your title, stainless steel water bottle, but then also kind of giving a little bit more about it being maybe BPA free, the size of the water bottle, that it's leak proof, and maybe that's something people are searching. Next, your bullets and your description, you should naturally incorporate your keywords while highlighting the key features and benefits of your product. You want to not forget things like also back-end search terms. That's something that people kind of forget about. You don't have as much as you used to, but you should use all the space that they currently are allowing. And I can have a link in the show notes that'll kind of explain to you, pretty much it'll take you to Seller Central's current rules on back-end search terms. I think you'll find that helpful. And those keywords, those are good for like misspellings, things like that. That can really help improve your product's discoverability, because obviously, when people are searching for your brand name, you would want them to find your product. But the point is to try to get people connected to your product that weren't necessarily thinking of your brand. Also, you want to avoid duplicating keywords, and you want to use all available characters as much as possible. Now, the reason to avoid duplicating keywords too much, obviously, sometimes you will need to, but you don't want to do it excessively just because there's other words that you could be putting there that could take up that space. So you want to be very mindful of that. And you can also add keywords into your images, but also into your A+ content. Those are often places that brands are overlooking when they're updating the listing. Let's now talk about enhancing your product images and videos. So, high quality images and videos. This is essential for really catching customers' eyes, for boosting your conversions. You want your images to be high resolution. You want them to see your product from multiple angles. Lifestyle images are great. It's really helpful. It can be effective for people to see how they can use your product, who your target market is even. So for natural personal care brands that are typically listening to this podcast, think about who you're targeting. What do they look like? Have them see themselves in those images. And if possible, it's really great to have a video that highlights your product's features and benefits. A picture is worth 1,000 words. Well, a video is worth so much more, right? Because they can visually see things. You can maybe even educate people on things that you want them to make sure it's in their mind. And as more people are shopping on mobile on their phones, they're going to really be focusing in on those things first. Now, let's talk about leveraging Amazon ads. So Amazon ads, you've got sponsored products, you've sponsored brands, sponsored display ads. I've briefly covered in previous episodes, Amazon ads, but they can significantly really give you more visibility on Amazon because you're literally going to be sending traffic to your listing for certain keywords typically. So you're going to want to run an effective ad campaign. This will really help with your organic ranking as well because you're driving more traffic and sales to your listings. And it's really great to pair your ads and what keywords you're targeting with the keywords that you think are the most relevant with good search volume and that are already in your listing or maybe have been added to your listings like I mentioned before. So let's talk about customer reviews. This is another place that Amazon is going to use for search is actually the customer product reviews. This will help Amazon to see if your product is relevant for what a customer is searching. Now, this is not as much in your control since the customer is literally the one that is writing reviews. But if they understand the problem that your natural personal care product fixes and the main benefits from all your marketing, then hopefully they will mention those points in their actual written review. Now, if you have a question or a problem that you're facing on Amazon or another online platform for your natural personal care brand, you can always send a quick email to contact@clickfluency.com. And don't forget, we have now opened up our private Facebook group where you can meet other natural personal care brands like yourself looking to grow and scale profitably. So there's going to be a link for that in the show notes to join. And that is all for today. Your action step is really to look at the 6 points really that I covered today and figure out what do you need to be fixing so that you can make sure you're seen on Amazon for a particular search term or search terms. And as a little bonus, if you want, my recommendation of an action item would be to start tracking your top 5 keywords. We usually track a lot more for brands that we work with, but that's going to give you a good starting point to see where are you showing up on searches for something that is very relevant. It's honestly good to track even your own brand name because sometimes you can actually stop showing up in searches for your brand name, and you never want that happening. I mean, it's okay to pay for your own brand name as well, but you really want to organically be that first result for your brand name. So you may actually want to add that into tracking as well and add a few other keywords that are super relevant for just one of your listings. That way it's not too overwhelming. Just think about your best-selling listing. That would be a good place to start. So that is your action item for today. And I hope to see you in that Facebook group, and I look forward to hearing from you in emails as well. That is all that I have for today, and I will talk to you next week. Bye. Thanks for listening to today's episode. I hope it brought you value you can use to grow your Amazon sales channel for your brand. What would really help me a ton, like, you know how important product reviews are on Amazon? Would you take a quick minute and leave me a review on Apple Podcasts? Just scroll down until you see the write a review in purple, and then you can click the leave the rating and review there. That'll help me to know you're getting value from this and what future content you want to hear more of that would serve you best. Thank you so much.